So yesterday I got home at about 4 and I felt that good exhaustion. You know, the one you get after a successful barbecue. Felt good to relax. I grabbed a bite to eat, though not too much because I had already had my fill of barbecue. Then I took a shower. And so finally at about 6 o'clock that evening, I was able to begin typing up my sermon. All that to say, this is going to be very brief. Actually, both Emily and my dad agreed that all I really need to do is sing the Zacchaeus song and call it a day. So, Zacchaeus, well, I'm kidding. I would never do that to you guys. But I do want to get into this. But first, I'll give you a moment to read about Zacchaeus' encounter with Jesus in the Gospel of Luke. This is a great story, and there's a lot going on in it. We could talk about Zacchaeus' loathed position as a tax collector. We could talk about his wealth, his stature, his restitution. But we're going to skip all of that this year because yesterday during the barbecue, all I could think about was Zacchaeus up in that sycamore tree. So the story goes, Zacchaeus saw crowds gathering because a man named Jesus was passing through his hometown of Jericho, and he was intrigued. He wanted to see the person who some were claiming was the Messiah. So he ran ahead of the parade and he climbed up in a sycamore tree so he could see clearly. You see, Zacchaeus wanted to get a glimpse of hope. I imagine that his world, though full of wealth, was also full of immense pain, conflict, and division. Being a tax collector, sure, meant that he had money, but it also meant that he was hated by his very own people. And Jesus, Zacchaeus, must have believed, could do something to change that. So he climbed up to see. You know, over 50 years ago, Father Kishpaw, the priest who built this church, Father Kishpaw began going out early in the morning every year when the fair was in town. And he would cook breakfast for the traveling carnival workers. It just blows my mind. I never heard the story of why he did it, but he was faithful. He would go out, cook breakfast, and minister to the workers through conversation and food. This must have caused some type of commotion in the church, and I imagine a member of two going out to see what their parish priest was doing on the fairgrounds so early in the morning. They, like Zacchaeus, became intrigued. Now, if we get back to our story, what happened when Zacchaeus climbed into that tree? What happened when he saw Jesus? Actually, the most important question was, what happened when Jesus saw Zacchaeus? The gospel says he looked at him up in that tree and he yelled, "Zacchaeus, come down, hurry, for I must stay at your house today." This is an important reminder that if you begin looking, Jesus is going to see you and want something from you. He is going to invite you into ministry, into the movement of God, of hospitality, of community, nourishment, and joy. I imagine that's what happened to those folks who saw Kishpaw cooking breakfast at the fairgrounds, because soon he wasn't alone. Others joined. That ministry grew and it transformed from feeding a few when they were traveling through town to all-night cookouts, barbecue pits, baked beans stirred with boat paddles, barbecue sauce made by the gallon, slaw in quantities that you wouldn't believe, freezers full of casseroles and soups and cakes and sweets. And all along the way, people kept coming out, just like Zacchaeus, wondering what all the fuss was about, intrigued by the ministry, charmed by the people serving their community with joy and unconditional love. That's what we did yesterday. That's what Sue Ann, Ned, Spike, and Bilbo all led this church in accomplishing yesterday at the barbecue, and it was amazing. Yet today, in its aftermath, my question for you, for each one of you, is, who did you see up in the trees? Who was peering down at us as we worked our ministry? Who like Zacchaeus, was on the outside yearning for an invitation to be brought in? Who did you see yesterday that today is waiting for your phone call, calling to say, Zacchaeus, hurry, come down. I need you. We need you. You were staring at us, and I saw you. Come down, for tonight you will join us. Jesus' ministry has always been about the lost being found. And I think it's easy for us to be content and joyful with those whom are already here. But Jesus was always looking out, seeing those who were longing to come in, but too afraid to step out on their own. And so he, in his compassion, would invite them. Mediator, someone out there is waiting for us, peering down on us, desiring to be with us. Let's not leave them up there hanging in the trees. I love you. God bless you. And goodbye for now.